Assalamualaikum. On the behalf of my group members, I will be the first to explain the topic entitled Introduction to Statistics and Descriptive Statistics and Correlation and Regression. First thing first, we are the student from Faculty of Applied Science. Our program code is AS113 and we are from Group 4D. Lecturer for this code, which is STA108, is Madam Nur Idawati Baharum. Our group consists of 5 members including me, Auni Adlina binti Muhammad Zamri. For the rest are Nur Syafiqah binti Ruslan, Nurin Jazlina binti Jamaluddin, Nurin Najla binti Abdul Qadir and Nur Aina Syafiqah binti Asham. In this video, our group will present these topics below. First, introduction. Second, methodology, which is focusing on the data description. Third, results, and lastly, conclusion. We use 2 types of data in this study. Data 1 is quantitative data about the age of Taman Orchid residents. Data 2 includes the number of report cases caused by COVID-19 in Perlis in year 2021, as well as the number of deaths by months, which is qualitative data. Quantitative data is data that can be counted or measured in numerical values. So, that is why we use data 1 to analyze the methodology such as the data description, graphical techniques, and numerical techniques. Meanwhile, qualitative data is descriptive data that is not expressed numerically. In data 2, the study is done to analyze the relationship between the 2 variables. Scientifically, we know that COVID-19 is a disease caused by a virus named SARS-CoV-2, which was discovered in December 2019 in Wuhan, China, and it is very contagious and has quickly spread around the world, including Malaysia. However, in this study, we only focus on the number of reported cases caused by COVID-19 at Perlis in 2021 to observe the relationship patterns between those variables. The scale of measurement for the number reported cases will be interval and ratio for the number of deaths by months. The data for this study were taken from the Ministry of Health Malaysia official portal. In this study, the number of reported cases caused by COVID-19 at Perlis in the year 2021 are classified as independent variables and number of deaths by months are classified as dependent variables. Next, there are many of objectives in this study such as to calculate mean, median and mode, to determine variance, standard deviation and quartiles, to find the coefficient of determination and interpret the result, to state the present product moment, correlation coefficient and interpret the value, and lastly, to state the estimate regression line.
Move to the next chapter, which is methodology. In methodology, we have data description that consists population, sample, data collection method, sampling technique, variables and measurement skills. So, what is population? The population that was used in this study is all resident in Taman Orchid. Second is sample. The sample used in this study is the age of 50 resident in Taman Orchid. The third one is data collection method. Data collection method that we use in this study, we directly observe from the study, like direct observation from the study. Next is sampling technique. There was no sampling technique required in this study because the data represent the secondary data, which is fully complete. Besides, we have variables. The variables is actually the independent variables because of the age group, and the data were obtained in this study is quantitative data, which is the numerical data where it is suitable for discrete variable that is countable variable. Last but not least, we have measurement scale. The measurement scale that were used in this study is ratio scale. This measurement scale was chosen is because ratio is the measurement which is stated that it is an ordered scale that give meaning the difference between the measurement and involved through 0 point.
Assalamualaikum. I am Nurin Jazlina binti Jamaluddin. First and foremost, I would like to elucidate 3.1, which is data presentation. This histogram represents an X variable, which is the age of resident in Taman Orchid. The distribution of the histogram shown is non-symmetrical by model distribution, while the value for the mean and standard deviation is 40 years old and 22.7130 respectively. Next, we move on to 3.2, which is descriptive statistic analysis. For mean, the average age for resident in Taman Orchid is 40 years old. From the median, we can interpret half of the residents in the Taman Orchid are less than 34 years old, while the other half are over 34 years old. Based on this data, it has multiple mode, or we can call it as multimodal, which is value that reach the same frequency and it has more than one peak. The first quartile is the 25th percentile, so 25% of residents in Taman Orchid are less than 22 years old, while 75% of residents in Taman Orchid are more than 22 years old. And it is vice versa for the third quartile, which is 75% of residents in Taman Orchid are less than 62 years old, while 25% of residents in Taman Orchid are more than 62 years old. Based on the histogram, the overall skewness of the variable is 0.246. The distribution is positively skewed. Next, we will go through the 3.3, correlation and regression. For 3.3.1, it is independent variable and dependent variable. For independent variable, it is a variable that stands alone and isn't changed by the other variables you are trying to measure, while the dependent variable is a variable whose value depends on that of another. Here, number of reported cases caused by COVID at release 2021 is the independent variable, while number of deaths by month is the dependent variable.
Okay, this is the scatter plot. Diagram demonstrates a moderate positive correlation relationship between variable number of reported cases caused by COVID at police in 2021 and total death by month. This is the scatter plot with regression line.
For 3.3.3, it is coefficient of determination and interpretation. Coefficient of determination, or we can call it as R squared, with 0.806 means that 80.6% of the variability of total death by month can be explained by the number of reported cases caused by COVID at release 2021. The remaining 19.4% is the unexplained variability of number of deaths by month.
This is the correlation. The value of R is 0.898, suggests a moderate positive correlation relationship between number of reported cases caused by COVID at police in 2021 and number of deaths by month. That is, the higher the number of reported cases, the higher total death by this disease. The regression equation is y equal to negative 11.316 plus 0.124x. The value of beta 1 is 0.124, means that for every increase in number of reported cases, the total death will increase by 0.124. Okay, this is the simple linear regression. Okay, the variable x equal to reported case and y is equal to total death. Okay, b equal to 0.124. If the number of reported cases increase by 1 rate, the total death predicted will increase by 0.124. Okay, A equal to negative 11.316. When the number of reported cases is 0, the total death predicted is negative 11.316. Okay, the formula is y equal to A plus bx. The answer is negative 11.316. A regression line with a negative slope indicates that there is an inverse relationship between the two variables, number reported cases caused by COVID at police in 2021 and total death by month. This means that if number reported cases caused by COVID at police in 2021 increase, the total death by month will decrease, and if reported case caused by COVID at police in 2021 decrease, the total death will increase.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Najla binti Abdul Qadir. I would like to talk about the report summary of this topic. From this study, it can be concluded that the relationship between number of reported cases by COVID at April 2021 and number of deaths by months shows a positive correlation. Next, the graph that is suitable for this data is histogram. Besides, the value of mean for this data is 40.12, standard deviation is 22.713, and for interquartile range is 17.8. For this data, the value of correlation is 0.743, which suggests a moderate correlation relationship between number of reported cases by COVID at April 2021 and the number of deaths by month. The regression equation is y equal to negative 11.316 plus 0.124x. The value of beta 1 equal to 0.124 means that for every increase in the number of reported cases, the total death will increase by 0.124.